Discernment. What is discernment? Definition: the ability to judge well, to perceive or recognize something, making insightful decisions or assessments based on careful thought and understanding. It's a cognitive process that involves critical thinking, analysis, intuition, and wisdom. Well, some people might be sitting there thinking, I don't have intuition. How am I supposed to know whether I'm wise or not? Irregardless, discernment is important in every aspect of our everyday lives. Having the capacity to distinguish between right and wrong, truth and deceit, what's important versus unimportant. And again, not everybody is able to do that. Discernment and trauma healing. In trauma healing, we have to be discerning when allowing people to have access to us. We have to be discerning in relationships. We have to be discerning in the environments we put ourselves in, dependent on the trauma we have experienced. We have to be discerning with boundaries. We have to be discerning with our time. We have to be discerning with our energy. Every aspect of our existence, there should be discernment. Should is the key word, because again, not everybody is able to. And also, from the beginning, some people were not taught, but trauma has prevented learning this as well for some. With discernment and self-awareness, do you understand your emotions that you experience when you experience them? Do you understand even what you are experiencing? Do you understand your values? Do you even know what your needs are? And until very recently, I had not known that about myself. But being able to identify these things will help you identify what triggers you or what disrupts your peace. If we can't identify our emotions, our values, or our needs, it's going to be pretty challenging protecting our peace and ourselves from people. If we do not have self-awareness of ourselves, how are we going to be able to be discerning of others? Discernment and relationships. Do you have relationships that are draining, or are your relationships mainly nurturing? Do you have relationships where the individuals respect the boundaries that you have, or do they violate them? Completely disregard and violate them. Discernment involves understanding the nature of these relationships and deciding where you choose to place your energy. Once you can figure out whether the relationship is either draining or nurturing for you. And it's not that easy. There are so many moving pieces in relationships that it's just simply not whether a relationship is nurturing or is a relationship draining, because relationships within themselves fluctuate or go through cycles. So it's not that easy. Environment, discernment, and our environments. We need to learn to be discerning of where we put ourselves. That includes socially, for work. We need to learn to be mindful of putting ourselves in stressful environments or environments that cause discomfort. These environments can be online. They can be certain groups of people, family, Discernment is choosing to engage in environments that are uplifting and foster peace. In some families, especially toxic families or coming from abusive families, the environment within itself is toxic, stressful, and chaotic, but it is all some people know. So those are the environments that they choose to put themselves into. And that's not only it. With me in healing, a few years ago, it's challenging when you first start on the healing journey because you're so used to chaotic, stressful environments. And then I have to do a video or a episode on being addicted to stress and chaotic environments, because you will create them even in your healing. While you're going through your healing journey, you will create them because that is what you know and that is comforting to you. So when something outside of your comfort zone, we're human by default, or most people will just create what they are accustomed to or what makes them feel comfortable. So we have to be extremely mindful of the environments we place ourselves into. And that includes working environments. You can, because hello, people need a job and people have bills to pay, but working in a high stress environment, or working in a very toxic work environment, or working in an environment where you are tolerated, or you are unhappy, it's the same vibe, same energy, same situation. You have to be discerning, and you have to find a way to transition out of that environment, because every day that you step into that environment, you are stepping into an environment that is very triggering or causes your energy to be what you are not trying to present in a very unhealthy manner. With discernment, setting firm boundaries. But with setting boundaries, and what I'm learning recently, because I just recently learned how to really set them and keep them firm, first and foremost, you have to be able to communicate what your needs are, what your expectations are, and what your limits are to the people in your life. And discernment here involves knowing when and how to assert the boundaries. And I'm going to tell you something here. The people in your life that benefit from you not having boundaries will remove themselves once you start asserting the boundaries. You won't have to worry about it. They'll fall off themselves. It has to be very discomforting for people who benefited from a person not having boundaries or not being able to protect themselves from overexhaustion or just being taken advantage of, or whatever the case may be. They will organically fall off themselves once you start asserting boundaries, especially when you start asserting boundaries that prevent them from benefiting. They'll fall off, and that's how you're going to be able to know who your people are and who your people are not. Because the ones that have benefited from the boundaries and don't know what to do once boundaries are put into place, I'm telling you, they'll express themselves. They'll show themselves. You won't have to do anything. The next important, managing your time and energy, kind of go along with environment, setting firm boundaries, but managing time and energy, where you put your energy, time, money, who you allow access to you in your space, between your legs, what you consume, television, food, all toxins. When it comes to television, the news has been proven to cause depression. And it is crazy how for decades, all I did was consume it. And sometimes I wouldn't even be really consuming it, but my subconscious mind would be, because it would be on in the background. Here's another one, reality TV. Reality TV is very low vibe. It is toxic. What you are in reality TV, the energy there, the communication tactics, the styles, the way people are set up, the whole energy behind reality TV is low vibe, and it's very toxic. And if you are consuming nothing but reality TV, which is what I did for years, that affects you as a person. Everything that we consume, everything that we allow to have access, everything that we give our energy to, we become. And until you are able to shift that, the vibe, the energy, the consumption, all of it remains the same. Very low vibe, very toxic. So then you end up showing up. All of that on top of what you are already carrying within you, it's challenging enough. With discernment, we have to consume what aligns with our values and consume what contributes to our peace, whatever that looks like. Everybody is different. And also on a healing journey, you're also trying to figure out what that is. I'm still figuring things out. I've got all kinds of new hobbies and things that I enjoy doing that I did not just 60 days ago. So, there's things that I used to enjoy that I definitely don't anymore. And television is one of them. I really do not consume television like that. And when I do, it is definitely not reality TV or anything like that. It's extremely educational. I was very lucky to be thrown in a home with an artist, and a little artist and highly intelligent, to where they just prefer to learn instead of just being, boob tube. So I taught them how to boob tube, and they taught me how to learn from education, and like educational content is what they taught me. The next is self-care and discernment with self-care, being discerning in what we choose to nourish and recharge our bodies, our mind, bodies, and souls. Making mindful and informed decisions about our relationships, environments, and what we consume consistently helps maintain an emotional and mental balance and a life that nurtures your peace of mind. Now, with all of that, self-care, discernment, and self-care, everyone has their own definition of what self-care looks like. For me personally, self-care really means being intentional and discerning on what I choose to consume. Now, let me hit it with the food. For the most part, I do everything healthy, organic. I'm trying to learn how to hydrate properly, extremely alkaline. I'm not an all alkaline diet just yet, but that is where I'm headed. But also, I will allow myself some of my favorites. I'm not going to get to a point to where I'm very restrictive with the things that that bring me joy and bring me happiness. Again, it is a balance in all we consume. Now, with television, there is no reality TV. That's out. I can even try today in 2023. I try to consume things that I used to. As far as on television with reality TV, I don't even like it. There's stuff outside of reality TV that I just do not vibe with anymore. It don't hit the same. So I'm just not into it anymore. I've outgrown it in a sense, I guess. I don't know. That's just me, for me. But discernment and being mindful and making informed decisions about the types of people, the quality of relationships, the quality of our environments, the quality of what we put in our body, the quality of what we watch, the quality of what we read, and being consistent with all of it. That's where the balance is. And for me, discernment, my goodness, this is a big one. And before, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I really thought that I am a people person and I can read people, but I just really just got sloppy, I guess, with my discernment. I've always been very private. I don't allow a lot of people to have access to me. But there were aspects of me that were not very discerning at all. Like I was a complete overshare at work. I would just tell people whatever was going on. In my super private life, like things that I just should not share, like my IVF journey, I literally would go to work and just talk to my coworkers about what I was going through. I just wasn't discerning about that. I was very discerning on who I let in my home, though. So there were aspects of my existence that were discerning, and then there were aspects that were not. And 2 years ago, I've had to learn a major lesson as far as like being discerning as my environment, who I allow to have access to me. That goes for people like who have known me a very long time, even them. I'm extremely selective now on who has access to me. It is, it's a very new thing to me because I love showing up for people and I like being able to be accessible. And I always want people to know that they have someone to depend on no matter what. But that gets me nowhere. So we're not doing that no more. We're going to be extremely discerning on how we open up ourselves to people in which environments we also put ourselves into. And that's me speaking in the third person, of course, because I'm speaking of myself. But discernment is a big one. So on this beautiful day, let's all try to just be as aware, patient, discerning, and understanding of not only where others are, but where we are within ourselves. It is another beautiful holiday day here in the East Mountains, and I am extremely and eternally grateful for that. I wish you all a very good week ahead, and try to remember, again, discernment is the word for the week. Be blessed.